Although his life had been blessed, Jacob was not living in his inheritance. Listen, I think for most of us in this room today, your life may be blessed, but are you living in the fullness of the inheritance that God has for you? I'm not. I have an idea. Bible tells us eye is not seen, ear is not heard, nor is it even entered into the heart of man the good things that God has in store for us. Your future is so much brighter than your present right now. What God has in store for you is bigger and better than you could ever imagine. And if you feel like you're living in the blessing of God, but not in the inheritance that He has for you, this is a season to intentionally push towards moving into that space. And for Jacob, he went from living with Uncle Laban and being blessed to coming back, because Uncle Laban, while he had grown in wealth over there with Uncle Laban, his daddy had enough wealth to give to kings. Abraham had wealth to give to nations. Abraham, even when he rescued 5 different nations with his own personal army, and they were like, you better keep the spoils of war. Abraham was not like, I don't need it. I got so much. I don't need what I just got. Y'all can have your stuff back. Have your cattle, have your wives, have everything back. I'm just going to give 1/10 to the Lord, and then you guys can keep the rest of it. I don't need your money. Nobody's ever going to say they made Abraham rich because God made me rich. That is the inheritance that Jacob ran away from. What God has in store for you is so much bigger and so much better than what you've been living in, but you need to change how you see yourself. You need to stop giving yourself excuses for living the way you live, because it's going to require a lifestyle change in order to live in the inheritance that God has for you. So stop giving yourself the excuses. Well, that's just my lot in life. Well, if I hadn't made that mistake, if I hadn't done this, and if the devil hadn't done that, and stop it. Yet realize, God, I want the fullness of what you have for me. Show me how to see myself through your eyes, see who you've made me to be. Allow me to do the stuff I need to do. And that requires a wrestle. For Jacob, that was not a nice, quiet prayer. That was an all-night battle with the Son of God, to the point that that in the morning, Jacob was like, give me a blessing, give me a blessing. And God wouldn't bless him until he changed his name. When he said, give me a blessing, God said, who are you? What's your name? And he had to identify where he was in life. Some of us need to identify where we are in life and say, Lord, this is what the world says about me. This is what the people around me say about me. This is what I think about myself. Lord, impart into me your identity. Change my name and allow me to step into the inheritance that you have for me.